Testing the audio out, seeing how everything works, and making sure everything is set up correctly. Hey, Rich is here. The audio out, seeing how everything works, and making sure everything is set up correctly. Ah, no piano. Why is that happening? Let's investigate. Let's see. So how you doing today, Rich? I finally got around to looking at your song. I don't know if you saw my comment on YouTube of you playing the Star Spangled Banner. No, not the Star Spangled Banner. I can't remember what it is. Let me look here for a second. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't believe I can't remember what it is. Okay, let's see. I've been pretty well. I had a good 4th of July holiday and Battle Hymn of the Republic. And I don't know, I've been having fun, but busy at the same time. But it's been a very good couple of weeks. How have you been? Hello. Ibrahim is in the house. How you doing, man? I'm doing pretty well. I hope I said that right anyway. And then we have Contora Pro. How are you doing today? I can help you learn about arpeggios, if that's why you're here. It looks like the stream is frozen, but let me see. Hey, Rich is here. Ah, no piano. Why is that happening? Let's investigate. Let's see. So how you doing today, Rich? I finally got around to looking at your song. I don't know if you saw my comment on YouTube of you playing Star Spangled. No. Not the Star Spangled Banner. I can't remember what it is. Okay, so we'll get started in just a couple of minutes here. Let me make sure everything is set and good to go with the audio. Make sure the piano. I can't believe I can't remember what it is. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I think everything's working now. I turned down the audio so it should stop echoing profusely throughout the cosmos. Sorry about that. Okay, what is that about? I don't know. Hello, everybody. Let me change the chat so I can see everybody just fine. So just give me 1 second. I hope everybody had a great couple of weeks while we've been off, but we're now back, of course. Okay. So if there's ever a problem with the stream, just let me know, and I will solve it. I need one more thing. Just hold on a second, and we'll get started. Here, Little G is here. How you doing, Little G? And we have, let's see who else we have today. We have Majid. Is that how you say your name? I know, pretty sure I've seen you around before as well. Ooh, Elk is also here. If I said that right, sorry if I messed that up as well. Glad to have so many of you with us. So we are doing, we're going to learn about arpeggios tonight. Let me just bring up our little, our itinerary. So we were kind of focused in what we are doing, because that's always a good thing, right? Okay, so just to kind of run you through it, and then we'll get started. So we're going to be talking about what an arpeggio is. Hold on a second. What is that? I don't know, there's some kind of weird hissing noise in the office here, but All right, we're going to talk about arpeggios today. So, what is an arpeggio? Why learning arpeggios is important, and then we're going to talk about the reasons why. And then we're going to go to how to practice arpeggios. I'm going to give you a really helpful link in the description to help you out with that. And then yeah, and then we're going to do a little quiz time at the end to make sure we all understand everything really well. Just give a second though. Seriously, what is that? I don't hear that often. What the hell is it? Hold on. Okay, I'm just going to get on with the show. I don't know what that is. I'll have to edit it out in post, which is a little annoying. But hey, what are you going to do? Okay, so here we go. Let me just think about what we're doing. So the first thing, let me bring this up. Hold on a second. Let me do like a little intro. Hey students, Tim from Lessons on the Web again, and we're going to jump right into arpeggios today. First thing we're going to talk about though is what is an arpeggio, or how would I define it? Well, we have our triads, right? And you may, if you don't know what a triad is, it's just a 3-note chord. And very simply, all an arpeggio is instead of playing a block chord, you're playing one note at a time. And that's really it. That's all there is to it. It can be a major chord. It can be a minor chord. It can be a diminished chord. And any kind of chord that you can imagine you can have in an arpeggio form. So the next part is, why do we learn arpeggios? What is the purpose? Why would I be talking about this right now? And why do your teachers, if you have a piano teacher, would tell you to play your arpeggios? So here's the first reason we're going to talk about, which is they appear in music all the time. So it would be a good idea to learn them, right? Because then you can play them real snappy, real easy. So let me show you some examples. So here we have Bach's Prelude in C major from the Well-Tempered Clavier, Book 1. Now I'm only going to play a couple of measures of this. Blame YouTube for me not being able to play the entire thing. But I'm just going to show you how arpeggios are used in a song. So the song begins with C with your left hand, then E, G, and then C, E. Well, hey, that's basically a C major, not basically, it is a C major arpeggio. Oops. And then it changes to the next measure. Just like that. And then the whole song is basically made on these arpeggios that change from measure to measure. Let's do another example. Okay. Okay, now this one is from the Pathetique Sonata Movement 2 by Beethoven. I have some chords here with my right hand while I play, guess what? Arpeggios with my left hand. Like that. So it's very important to be able to play arpeggios because they show up in a lot of places for both the right hand treble clef, left hand bass clef. Let's do one more example and let me show you one more. Okay, now this example is from Beethoven's Sonata Opus 2, number 1 in F minor. The very beginning of the song, guess what? Begins with an arpeggio. So enough of the examples. Let's get on to the next step. Another important reason we learn our triads is it helps you understand. Sorry, let me try that again. Another important reason we learn our arpeggios is because it helps reinforce our knowledge of triads. So remember I said triad is a 3-note chord, right? It can even be a seventh chord if it's 4 notes. But let's just talk about triads for a minute. So if you practice your arpeggios regularly, which we'll talk about in a minute, you really have a good understanding on where these chords take place octave to octave and what they look like and how to move your fingers freely between them. So like if I did D major, just by practicing that arpeggio again and again, I really can recognize the 3 notes that make up a D major triad: D, F sharp, and A. And then the third main reason we learn arpeggios is to improve our finger dexterity and our coordination playing up and down the piano. So obviously what these two things are very, very important in being able to play piano effectively because, you know, obviously piano has a lot of complicated things going on, and by developing your coordination, you can play up and down the piano most effectively, and that's really great, and it comes in handy in every song you will play. So obviously when you're playing, you know, say A major arpeggio, 2 octaves, there's a lot of finger movement, but not only that, arm movement as well, up and down. And of course you can get faster, and it also helps you practice playing the same note at the same time with different hands, I mean an octave apart. So it really helps sync up your hands as well. Another thing that kind of falls into that same category is fingering. By learning your arpeggios, it reinforces your use of certain fingerings, which make you be able to play up and down the piano more effectively, which is a running theme basically in this lesson. That's why I'm telling you about this little secret of arpeggios, even though it's not really a secret, is really because if you learn them and practice them, you can use them pretty much everywhere, and they really help develop your skills to become the best piano player that you can be. And that's what we all want, right? We want to be better piano players. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, next, everybody in the stream, we're going to go to this website. Let me load this up for us, and let me send it through in the chat so you know the link to it, and I'll put it in the description of the video when I post it so that you can find it real easy as well. This is like a one-stop shop for arpeggios, basically. Like if you're looking for a free resource to practice them, I'm going to give it to you right now. Just give me a second. I have to send it through the chat. Thank you very much, Pedro. Great to see you again. Okay, almost there. Just give me a second. Okay, so your link is incoming in the chat right now, and I'm going to have it for you here. So there's the link, and it says page 44. That's probably the most important part, really. Oops. Okay, so when you load it up, you'll see, hey, this doesn't look right. And actually, these have a lot of good exercises in them as well that you can practice. But you want to go to page 44 of this thing, wherever that is. Let's see. Why are there not page numbers here? Sorry about this little glitch, everybody. Let me find the correct page for us so we can practice these. Here, no, that's not it either. Let me do something really quick. Just hang in there. Okay, I think I got it. I think it's further down. Okay, here we go. Finally, we're in business. Sorry about that. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. One up. So the moral of the story is don't use Microsoft Edge for anything, which is their new browser. Oh my goodness. First of all, it doesn't tell me what the page numbers are. And then it's like really choppy. But anyway. So if you go to page 44, the link that I sent you, you have all the arpeggios in the 24 keys that you need to know them in, the major and the minor. So you start out with C major, and what you want to do is you want to learn them hand separate first. So that's the first key tip about practicing these. I'm also going to give you another little tip that you might not hear too many other places. When you're playing ascending on the piano going up, you want to slightly tilt your fingertips going in that direction. That will help you play them better. And then when you're coming back down, you want to tilt your hand a little bit, just a little bit, not to where it's uncomfortable or anything. But you want to face your fingertips the other way. That will just help you play them more effectively. You want to pay attention to what the fingering it is that they're giving you. So remember, one of the big points of this is to improve our dexterity and use of our finger numbers. So you really have to pay attention to that, because you can use any old finger numbers, but it's not going to work nearly as well. You won't be able to play them as quickly and as fluidly, so make sure to use the correct fingers. Okay, same thing with then learn them on the left hand, obviously. And then together. When you're first learning them, you want to go nice and slow and then speed them up, over time, maybe over weeks or even months. How I suggest you go through these. Learn one of these arpeggios once a day if you're really motivated and you have lots of time, but at least once a week. So basically what you want to do is, we'll do it on the daily schedule. So say Monday you learn the one in C major. Then say Tuesday you want to go to A minor, the very next one, learn that one, hands separate and then hands together. It doesn't have to be perfect in one day, but just learn one a day. And then what you do is each day that goes by, you want to practice the ones you first started with plus the new one. So basically, say I'm 3 down on my third day, I'm going to learn F minor. But not only that, I'm also going to review A minor. And then I'm also going to review C major. And then do this for 24 days until you've learned them all. And actually by the end of the 24th day, you're going to be really good at the first few of the arpeggios, because each day that goes by, you're practicing all the older ones. And then probably what you want to do is practice them for another 24 days. And then maybe even you want to go from the bottom of the list back up to the top. And that will make the arpeggios you learn later just as good as the ones you learn in the beginning. Because then you'll be practicing those first and then the other ones. So I'd say 48 days in total if you're feeling ambitious. You can, of course, take 2 days for one of these. You can take a week per one. But go about it like I talked about. You learn one, you learn the next one, including the one you first learned, and then you build on it each time until you learn them all. Okay, let's see what our next little thing is about. And then once you've completed that, I know it will take a long time. I just want to give you a little bit of additional advice. You want to start practicing them faster and faster. First, it doesn't matter how fast you go. Over the first 24 days, go really slow, right? Take your time on these. No rush to go anywhere. And then say you're on the second 24 days. Well, once you go through them again, try to make them a little faster each day. Until you go through them all again at a faster speed. And then once you do that for a while, try it 4 octaves. So you're just going to keep going up until you reach pretty much the entire span of the piano. Let me try that one again. A little bit of trouble there, so obviously I would review that one until I've perfected it. So you always want to go over trouble areas. That is one of the great points of practicing that I can give you. That's probably the most important part of practice, is don't ignore the problem areas. Make sure you practice those first so you can clean those up and make those just as good, or if not better, than the sections or things that you're already good at. Okay, so hold on one second. Okay, everybody, now it is quiz time. So I'm going to give you 2 main questions of what this lesson is all about. If you understand these 2 questions, then you understand how this lesson works perfectly, or how arpeggios work. If you miss any of these questions, there's only 2 of them today, you need to go back to parts of the lesson and watch them again to make sure you fully understand the lesson. So here's the first question. First question, how many notes are in an arpeggio? So if you know, write it in the comments or write it down, whatever you like to do. But the first question is, how many notes are in an arpeggio? Question 2 is, why do we learn arpeggios? What is the purpose? How does it help us? List as many ways as you can think of that we talked about this lesson as possible. So leave them in the comments or, keep them to yourself. But either way, you need to answer this question to make sure you have the concept of the lesson. And then a bonus question about practicing. I know this is not really off topic since practicing encompasses all of what we do in music. But what was the helpful tip of practicing that I gave you today? Basically, where do you want to spend your time practicing? You don't always want to start with what you're good at. You have to do what? So write that down as well. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the answers. So the first question was, how many notes are in an arpeggio? The answer is 3. 3 notes in an arpeggio. If it's a triad, I should have clarified that a little bit. It can be a 7th chord arpeggios, but we didn't talk about those today. We only talked about triads. So that is the correct answer for this lesson. Next question was, why do we learn arpeggios? Well, we learn arpeggios for a number of reasons, right? It improves our dexterity, which is your ability to play up and down the piano, your coordination, being able to sync up both your right hand and left hand at the same time. So if you struggle with that, learning your arpeggios is a great way to develop that skill. And not only that, it really helps you be able to use the correct finger at the correct time, or the correct note, which also helps dexterity, but it also helps you form good finger usage habits, which will, as the theme of the lesson really is, playing up and down the piano more effectively. And then the last question was, like, how do we go about practicing really anything? And you can apply it to arpeggios, but really you always want to start with the things that you're not as good at when you practice. It's a pitfall to start with things that you are already really good at, because that makes those things even better and leaves, the things you struggle with behind. But in terms of practicing the arpeggios, you want to do one a day until you do all 24, and then you want to do that again. I would actually go backwards from number 24 to number 1, because that will help you basically go back in reverse and catch up on some of the later ones, play those over and over again. But each day you play a new one, you want to play all the ones from the day before. So it looks like Rich has gotten all 3 right. Rich has 3, helps with dexterity, coordination, reaffirms the notes in a chord. Very good. I forgot to mention that actually. Practice what you've been working on, then add a new thing. Yep, until you've learned them all. So you actually have it, not actually, you absolutely have it correct. So way to go. Okay, so what did everybody else think? Let me know in the comments what you thought about this lesson. Did you find it helpful? Are you looking forward to the recording of this lesson? And then, we're going to have a little Q&A discussion from here. I'm actually going to film, I might do the outro here for you, and then I might film another one with the other camera later. Couple of things I want to tell you about is you're probably subscribed already if you're watching this live stream. If you're not, make sure to subscribe, because I have new videos coming out every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we have these streams, on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Sunday, which is actually the next time we're going to meet at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. One thing I want to tell you about is you want to go to one thing I want to tell you about is you want to sign up for my newsletter. Because you will get a cool updates, two very nice updates once a month. One really centered around the content coming out for the YouTube channel, and one centered for the content coming out on my website. But either way, like no matter which of the two newsletters it is per month, they both have some kind of tip or some kind of additional information to add some value as well. So if you really want the inside look and you want some little extra tips here and there, along with some extra information on what's happening, make sure to sign up for the newsletter. And one more thing is you want to head over and check out the blog section. Most important that you do the newsletter, because actually you get updates on the blogs. When you do that, that's like a small section of the thing if you're interested in those. So those will be updated as well. I'm going to send you the link to the newsletter. Hold on. Okay, so there's your link for the newsletter. I'll make sure to put that in the comments of the description. That's what that's called, of the video as well, to help you out. So who watched the new video that came out today about minor sevenths? I edited it a little bit differently with a little bit different of a presentation. Still fleshing out, you know, the optimal presentation for the lessons. That's something I've been working really hard on. The little quiz time thing at the end, I think, helps kind of go over the really important parts of the lesson, which will especially be helpful if I do longer lessons. But I think even lessons like this, you know the 2 or 3 really important points of the lesson to get out of it, and then if you can answer those questions at the end, you understand the lesson completely. So it's really a way of engaging you, getting you to ask questions to yourself, as well as making sure, you know, that you understand everything about the lesson. So you make sure you didn't skip anything or didn't, you know, ignore anything, and make sure you have the best understanding possible. So hopefully that's the right way to go. I'll see what the stats are when I get them in. But, you know, I always like to try new things and new formats. And, yeah, so that's kind of the direction I'm going. I'm really trying to make the channel even a lot better than it is. Some know that I'm like taking a course right now and making you know, your YouTube channel better, and I think it's really helping. It's a little early to tell, but more great stuff is always on the way. So be sure to come with us to the live streams and, you know, take a look at the videos. You can feel free to comment on the videos. I actually try to get to almost every comment I get now. Now sometimes YouTube is a little wacky in telling me I have a comment. Sometimes it won't tell me, and then days later I look and I was like, wow, somebody left a comment. I totally didn't get to it. But feel free to be a part of the community. In fact, I encourage it, and I would love to have you as part of what we have going on here on this channel. So, you know, always thanks a lot is coming. I'm not ending the lesson here, but I just wanted to say thank you for being a part of this. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Does anybody have any questions? And I just noticed Shesk is not here, which breaks my heart. Although I think he said he had something going on a while back, so it's pretty understandable. But it was nice to have quite a few people here tonight. So, any additional questions or anything from anybody in the audience? We're at 8:30 or so. You know, I'll stick around for a little while. Talk if you would like to. Oh, let me tell you about what's going on for Sunday. So for Sunday, we're going to have kind of a community spotlight. It's the first one, so we'll see how it turns out. Anytime it's the first thing of anything, it can be interesting. Where I'm going to hear basically what you're struggling... No. Am I going to hear what you're struggling with, or are we doing piano stories? I think we're doing piano stories. Let me look this up. And hello if you've just joined us, and welcome. I'm currently looking up what we are doing next time My website is behaving strangely, which is not good. It's working good now, actually. Here we go. Now it's good. Okay, let's see. Piano stories. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Next one on the 17th. Oh, Rich says, what did I mean by your hands were too curved? So what I meant by that, Rich, I know I don't have the optimal... Oh, let me get to the piano. Let me open up the everything view, because that's my favorite one. What I meant by that, Rich, is that, you can have your fingers flat, right? And that's very bad. You don't want to play your fingers flat. You can curve your fingers. That's good, right? From what I could see, it could have been the angle, because like I said, your camera was like down and to the side. And that may make it look like your fingers are curving more than you are. But the problem that I saw, that I perceived, is that your hands were like too curved, almost like you were holding like a spherical object. That is kind of how you want to do it, but you also want to have them a little more relaxed. So it's like that, but you want to let them down a little bit. Obviously, you don't want them flat, but you don't want them up too high. That kind of makes them a little too rigid, in my opinion. So if you're having problems, with scales and things like that, chances are you want to just relax your fingers a little bit. And a lot of times what causes that problem is if you sit like, a lot of people sit in front of their keyboard especially, too close. Like, I don't have the camera set up to where I can show you. But right now I'm sitting very close. I'm sitting from my chest, I would say about a foot away from the piano. So you may be thinking, well, is that really close? Yeah, it is. Like, don't get me wrong, you don't want to be like 3 feet away. But you want to move. You want to go maybe a foot away, and then it depends on how tall you are too. You're probably taller than I am, but once you get about a foot away from your chest to the front of the keyboard, or your stomach, and then you just want to move back a little bit until your hands naturally fall a little bit. And this is just the most optimal sitting distance and hand position, arm position that you need to play the piano. Because if you're up too close, you have, I actually call it like Velociraptor syndrome. Well, I don't call it syndrome. I just call it Velociraptor arms, where the arms are more tucked in towards the center of your body, and you don't want that. You want I know it's hard to see here. Let me put my arms up like this, maybe you can see better. You want your elbows like out just a little bit. You don't want them way out where it's uncomfortable, but you want them out so you can move your arms and produce lots of sound on the keyboard. And to do that, you need to sit back a little further away. Again, like I said, it might have been the angle. And then if you do that, you also want to relax your hands a bit. You don't want them rigid at all. So that's what I had perceived, and I thought that I was witnessing there. So just be careful of that. Yeah, if you have long arms, you want to sit back even further than I said. You want to be, you want your arms elongated a bit. Obviously not like mummies, where they're straight out, but you also don't want them too close. Because, like I said, if you're at the optimal distance, you can reach up and down the piano very effectively. You can also get, a lot better sound. Like that. If I was too close, even right here, my range in my arms is extremely limited. So yeah, just practice or experiment sitting back a little bit, and then don't if your I don't know what your hands are like when you're at the piano, but don't make your hands really rigid. Now don't get me wrong, like I said, you don't want them flat. Probably better too rigid than too flat, but kind of in the middle where you have some shape to your hand, but not where you're like you feel like you're grasping almost. And remember that this is totally unrelated, but when the video comes out of the recording, give it a thumbs up. It really helps other people know that this is a quality lesson they can learn from as well. You can feel free to like the stream or not. I'm on the fence on here's the thing. If you're wondering where the stream recordings are, like we have the stream and you're like, man, where are the recordings to these things? I put them in a special playlist on the channel, but they are what they call unlisted, so they don't get sent out as a notice to the subscribers. And actually, I think if you're not looking in the playlist, I don't think you can see them. And there's a reason I did that, is because when I was sending out the live streams recordings, people were unsubscribing. I think because the videos are long, and because I think you're getting, if I send you a live stream about arpeggios and then I send you a crafted video about arpeggios, which is made from the live stream clips that I can do, plus a couple additional ones, I think people see that as, duplicate content. So you can find the entire stream recording in that playlist. Yeah, it is. And if you ever want to send me a recording again, feel free. Obviously, it might take a little while for me to get to it, but I did. I actually had, to tell you the truth, I like went on. I didn't like really go anywhere on vacation, but we had that July break, and then like just today, I was like, oh man, I really need to get to that recording. So I looked at it and gave it my best in terms of advice. So if you want to play for me again, which I encourage, actually, I'm going to start working that into more of the live streams. Once we get Shesk back, we'll get him to send in something, and then maybe we'll do like kind of a group session where we kind of look at each other's playing and critique and give little pointers. I think it's really helpful, because I probably wouldn't have given you those tips otherwise, at least not today, right, about how far away to sit at the piano. So I think I'll encourage more people to send in clips, and then maybe during the stream we'll take a look together. That's probably the best way it will work. But I'm still fleshing everything out, like I said. Okay, so I'm gonna stick around for just a few more minutes. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Whether it's something coming up in the stream about arpeggios, which we talked about today, or I'll even allow a few random music questions in this short amount of time that we have together. And another thing, while we're here and I'm waiting for any comments to come in or anything, I want to tell you, join the Facebook group. Like, if you want to get in contact with me, which is why I tell you join the Facebook group. I mean, you do get updates about the videos that come out and all that stuff, but it's a pretty good way of getting in contact with me as a YouTube viewer and part of the YouTube community, because a lot of the emails I get are from my Academy subscribers. Go to lessonsontheweb.com, by the way, if you want to learn about that Academy. So Facebook and all that are really great. I try to get to those as soon as I see them now. Within 24 hours is usually when I get to them, but sometimes I'll even get to them, like instantly if I'm able to. So you want to be in contact with me, check that out. And then if you ever have a quick question, you can send me a tweet on Twitter, and I'll try to check them before the live stream. And also, if I ever have to cancel for some reason, things just come up every once in a while, especially in the summer, the power might go out. And if the power's out, I might not be able to do it. But I'll try to send out a tweet just saying, like, hey, we're canceled tonight, or I'll send it out on the Facebook, hey, we're canceled tonight. So that's how you will know if we are canceled, because sending out a YouTube video isn't really practical, and saying, oh, hey, this video is to say there isn't going to be a video today. It would be kind of strange. So Twitter or Facebook is great for both communicating with me, each other, and getting the other updates from Lessons on the Web. Do I have a video about how to properly use the sustain pedal, says Pedro. I want to make one really bad. So the answer is no, not yet, but it is definitely in my workings. I am not entirely sure when I'm going to do one. I may do it in a couple of weeks. If you go to lessonsontheweb.com/community, you can find the calendar of when we are, what the live stream topics will be for the next couple of weeks. And one of them is how to sit properly at the piano. Now I have to change the camera position to do that. I think because the camera will be in that position, I'll also be able to lower it and have it look at my feet. Not making 100% promises on that, but if it's going to happen, really, really soon, it's during that. But I really do want to make a sustain pedal video since there doesn't really exist to be, there really doesn't seem to exist really that many of those videos. But I plan to. I definitely plan to. So, anybody else? That was a good content question. If you have a question about what may be coming in the pipeline, I'm fleshing out we have the next few weeks kind of scheduled out, and then I am still kind of brainstorming on what to do after that, and coming up with ideas. So, if there's something you'd really like to see, let me know in the comments or right here in the chat. How will the spotlight stream work? Great question. That's always something that kind of just gets developed. So what's the first one? How the first one's going to work is at the very least. So just as a backup plan, in case something doesn't work or something doesn't work with equipment, you're just basically I'm going to come in here. I'm going to say maybe one or two of my stories. Maybe some of them you've heard before. Maybe some of them you haven't heard. Just any stories I have about playing piano, not necessarily teaching, which I've told you some of the stories already. And then you should bring in any stories that you have about playing the piano, not necessarily just about learning the piano. I mean, those stories are great, but any, maybe even just reasons you want to learn piano or reasons you picked up the piano, the story behind that. That's what I want to know is what is your story behind wanting to learn how to play the piano. So what we're going to do at the very least is I'm going to say my questions. You're going to type yours, but what I really kind of want to do is have you guys Skype me like you had suggested. I think if I do it, the problem is if I do it on the main computer where I record the stream, it comes through as double voice. It's really weird. And I know there's some little setting or something somewhere. But anytime I ever try to record Skype from there, it has this really crazy echo that comes through. I think it's trying to record it twice for some reason. But what I could do is I could Skype call me on the tablet, and that way it wouldn't be doing that. You wouldn't be getting that double feedback from there. So that's the if things are going well, we meet and people show up, and I get some stories going. We'll set up a Skype call where I mean we can just kind of talk about things together. Actually, does awesome. Do you have Skype, Rich? I think you were the one that mentioned Skype. That we should do Skype. I think it would be really cool to set up a short Skype call, maybe I don't know 20 minutes or maybe the whole time, an hour if it goes really really great, and we get a really good discussion going. One thing I really want to do is set up podcasts, but that's in future months down the road. That isn't right away. And podcasts not only with people in the community like Rich or Shesk or Manny or Molly or anybody else who comes by, but really with other YouTube creators. So I want to find other YouTube creators that teach piano that will reply to my emails, and so we can set up a discussion together. So maybe me and somebody will talk about a certain type of music together or a certain type of teaching experiences together, or tips for beginners or something like that. Yeah, it would be Pedro. I agree. Yeah, I think podcasts would be awesome, especially if I find the right topics that people want to hear about. I'm really diving into the channel and seeing where where the views are coming from, where the interest is coming from, and just kind of analyzing the people that show up to the streams. And it seems to me that a lot of the people that are showing up are beginner based and they want tips for beginners. They're not, don't get me wrong, they are interested in more advanced stuff, but they need to bridge that gap. You know what I mean? So instead of just making beginner stuff and then every once in a while making something more intermediate or advanced, I think I'm just going to go beginner, and then it's going to be the bridge between beginner and that next step. And then if you're really interested in taking that next step into to being a more serious piano player, that's really what my website will be for. But I think I'll have a lot more videos in the future, and hopefully podcasts, about, not only just playing piano, oh, here's an A on the piano, here's a C, but really, like, what are the, for example, what are the 5 pitfalls? I'm not going to talk about it now because that's a teaser for later. What are the 5 problems that people run into when they practice? What are the 5 main things people get wrong? And how do you avoid those things? Or, what are the easy steps to... I already kind of did one on reading sheet music faster, but kind of like we did tonight. What are the easy steps to doing arpeggios, where I just kind of walk you through it. I didn't really go nitty gritty into the whole music theory about arpeggios, but basically those kind of things. Or, another lesson like this one, again, that's like, 3 main uses of scales in your piano playing, so you can use them to get better. So really, I'm trying to bridge the gap between beginner and whatever that next step the person may be, but it's mostly centered on tips for people who are not expert piano players, for sure. YouTube legend. Yeah, I emailed Liper a couple of years ago, and I didn't get any response, but I was brand new at the time. I don't know if he'll do it. He is a YouTube legend, that is true. He has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. He has he has a library of good videos, especially for the time. I mean, he was like first to the scene. Came out with his videos. He does have a nice sense of humor, and his videos are like pretty fun to watch for the most part. Like mine. I mean, not every video I do is a hit either. So yeah, that's an idea. Liper has a huge following. The problem also with, not problem with Liper, but Liper is not what I would call active at the moment. That could also be why he didn't reply to me. So I don't know. I'll have to try to contact him again. There's I actually don't want to tell you who it is. I don't want to give any hints away, but there's a few options. Some of them are smaller YouTubers. Some of them are larger than me. But if I could really get anybody, I'd be pretty happy. Anybody that's a music teacher. Maybe I could get Robin, my friend Robin, to join in with us. So maybe 1 or 2 of them. I certainly don't expect her to be in for like every single one. Robert, I don't know him, Rich. Let me look him up. Robert Estrin, huh? Is he on YouTube, Rich? Oh, I've seen him. I typed in his name and, yeah, I've definitely seen him around. He's a good pick. He really is. At least as a guest. So, I don't expect these people to be co-hosts with me, but if they could at least come on as a guest. He does have many vids, and he does have a fair amount of subscribers as well, which would be great for, both of our audiences. So you always want to be thinking, like, would their audience benefit from my videos, and would my videos benefit, their audience, vice versa. So it's a good, relationship for both of the audiences, because there's a lot of people that know about my videos that don't know about anybody else, and people know about their videos who don't know about anybody else. I think the more of us that people know about, the better, because I don't think we're really, like, YouTube's a weird thing where people are, I mean, they're kind of in competition, but they're not really. Like, if people help each other on YouTube, they actually do a lot better. Like, if 2 competitors work together, they usually almost always do a lot better than if they try to one-up each other and not cooperate at all. Really, I'll have to check him out. I've seen a few of his videos, but I should definitely check him out before I contact him. That's great. That's great, Rich. So you seem to be around in the YouTube world of playing the piano. So whatever names you can come up with when the time comes, I'd be more than happy to hear them out. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to start to wrap it up here. If there's any like last minute comments or questions you want to give, feel free. The recording to the whole live stream is going to be, like I said, put in a special playlist on the channel. So it's not going to be popping up in your feed, I don't think. And then I will make a like streamlined version of this where it's all nicely edited together. I edit out the hums and the ha's and the ums that I like to put in there, that I do as a habit. But I cut it together real nice. All right, everybody. So have a great week. Well, actually, I'm going to see you in 2 days. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for stopping by and being a part of our community. You're welcome, Robin. Robin, would you do a podcast with me? Not like every week, but like as a guest. Yeah, thank you, Rich. I'm really glad you're getting a lot out of the videos, and it seems like other people are as well. I really like having people stop by. You're welcome, Pedro. Great to have you with us. And Robin will absolutely do a podcast with me. So we will do that sometime in the future. Like I said, that's like an idea down the pipeline. I'm certainly busy enough at the moment. But yeah, that sounds great. So at least I got one person on board. I'm sure I'll be able to find other people. I guess it'll be like a beginners musicians podcast, and we'll go from there. We'll see what it develops into. So thanks everybody as always, and I'll check you out on Sunday at 8 p.m. And then if not, I believe we're meeting next Friday as well at 8 p.m. So the same time we met today. So thanks everybody, and have a great week.